If you've ever tried fasting, you know that first meal is just everything. But what if that meal, the one you've been looking forward to, is actually setting you up for a massive energy crash later? Well, today, we are going to fix that. We're going to dive in and figure out how to build that perfect first meal for incredible all-day energy.
So here's our game plan. First up, we'll talk about that post-fasting crash and why it happens. Then we'll get into the science of what I call the blood sugar roller coaster. After that, I'll introduce you to the solution, the Stability Trio. And from there, we'll get practical with a smart food toolkit and some exact blueprints for building that perfect first meal.
All right, let's start with the problem that I know a lot of us have felt, the post-fasting energy crash. I mean, that first meal feels so good in the moment, right? But what happens an hour or two later? Well, that's what really defines your day.
Does this sound familiar to you? You finally eat, you feel great for a little bit, and then, bam! The brain fog rolls in, you suddenly feel sleepy, and you're thinking about another cup of coffee. You're not alone in this. This is a super common experience, and there's a very clear biological reason for it.
So what's going on here? After you've been fasting, your body becomes incredibly sensitive. It's just primed to absorb nutrients really, really efficiently. Think about it like a dry sponge. It's ready to soak up whatever you give it first, and that is exactly why your first meal choice is so critical. To really get why that crash happens, we've got to look at what's going on inside our bodies. And you know what? It all comes down to one thing: blood sugar. Your energy levels for the entire day are pretty much directly tied to how stable you can keep your blood sugar.
And the key concept to understand here is something called the glycemic index, or GI. It's really just a simple number that tells you how fast a food is going to make your blood sugar go up. A high GI food, that means a super fast spike. A low GI food, that means a nice, slow, gentle rise. And that difference right there, that's the secret. This really shows you the two paths your day can take. On one side, you have a high GI meal, like a donut and some juice. Sure, you get that instant sugar rush, but then your body releases a huge wave of insulin to deal with it, and your blood sugar just plummets. That's the crash. But on the other side, a low GI meal, like some oatmeal and nuts, gives you this slow, steady release of energy. No spike, no crash, just fuel that lasts.
So the big question is, how do we stay off that roller coaster for good? Well, the solution is actually pretty simple, and I've given it a name so it's easy to remember. I call it the Stability Trio. It's just 3 key nutrients that, when you put them together, create the perfect foundation for stable, all-day energy.
And here they are: fiber, protein, and healthy fats. Fiber, you can think of it like the brakes. It slows down how fast sugar gets into your system. Protein is what keeps you feeling full and satisfied so you're not getting cravings an hour later. And healthy fats, they provide that long-burning, steady fuel. The real magic, though, isn't in any single one of them. It's about getting all 3 together on your plate.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like when you're standing in your kitchen? Let's build a really practical toolkit of foods that you can easily find and use to put together your perfect first meal. And the best part is how simple these choices are. I mean, for fiber, you've got stuff like oatmeal, apples, chia seeds. For protein, you can't beat eggs or Greek yogurt. And for those healthy fats, avocado or a handful of nuts are fantastic. And you'll even notice some foods, like nuts and seeds, actually check off more than one box.
All right, we have our toolkit, we know the principles. Now let's put it all into action. We're going to look at exactly how to combine these ingredients into some awesome, delicious meals. And, just as important, what you should probably steer clear of. First off, let's talk about what to avoid, especially for that very first meal. The biggest culprits are refined carbs and liquid sugars. We're talking about things like pastries, white bread, and especially juice. They get absorbed so fast that they send you straight onto that blood sugar roller coaster we're trying to avoid. It's not that you can never have these things, but as the first meal of the day, they're probably the worst choice you can make for your energy. So, what should you eat instead? Okay, let's start with a perfect example that I like to call the Powerball. It's so simple, it's perfectly balanced, and it's just incredibly effective at setting you up for a great day. So just look at how this meal hits every single point of the Stability Trio. You've got that slow-release fiber from the oatmeal and the berries, you've got high-quality protein from the Greek yogurt and the almonds, and you've got those essential healthy fats, again from the almonds. This combination is literally designed for sustained energy. Now, if you're more of a savory person, no problem. Here is another fantastic option: the avocado and egg open-faced sandwich. It's just as balanced, just as easy, and absolutely delicious. And see, the same exact principle works perfectly here. We're using whole grain bread for that slow-release fiber. That's a critical swap from plain white bread. We've got our healthy fats from the avocado for that long-lasting fuel, and of course, we have high-quality protein from the eggs to keep you full and satisfied for hours. It's a simple idea with a huge payoff. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? Your first meal sets the tone for your entire day. Choose wisely. It's not just about breaking your fast. It's about consciously and intentionally setting the metabolic tone for the hours to come. So let's just boil this all down to a super simple plan. For that first meal of the day, do your best to avoid those sugary, refined carbs. Instead, build your plate around the stability trio: fiber, protein, and healthy fats. That one simple choice is really the key to unlocking stable blood sugar and that consistent, sustained energy we're all looking for. And that brings us to the end. I just want to leave you with this one question to think about. Now that you know all this, what's your first meal going to look like tomorrow? The power to control your energy really is on your plate.